What's going on, everybody? This is the Dawsonator here, back with our Raw review for the week for August 14th, 2017. I'm going to start off the podcast with some thoughts on a few unrelated Raw topics. The first one is Ric Flair is unfortunately in hospital recovering from being put in a induced coma. Hopefully he's okay. It sounded like it was heart-related issues. That's never good when you hear that sort of thing, so we want to make sure that Ric Flair's okay. That's not one death that we all want to hear about this year in 2017 when he's such an iconic part of wrestling still up to this day, being Charlotte Flair father, and that is the last thing that we want. So he was put into hospital. It was originally thought to be heart-related, but from what it sounds like it's not so bad. So he's out of the coma, he's out of surgery, and he's recovering okay in hospital. Ric Flair, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and I wish you a speedy recovery. The second bit of news I wanted to get to is it sounds like the three-time Ring of Honor champion Adam Cole has been signed by the WWE. It seems like he is going to be debuting on NXT rather soon. I have seen plenty of photos of Kevin Owens and Adam Cole. Obviously, they're close friends, obviously wrestling a fair bit over the years. There was a photo at one point last year where I saw Adam Cole with his Ring of Honor championship and Kevin Owens with his Universal Championship sitting in a hotel room, just chilling out watching TV with their championship belts just on the side tables. So that's not something you see every day. Two different companies, world champions together, just chilling out and hanging out. That'll be exciting to see. That's another good signing for NXT and the WWE. That's going to add even more depth to a already incredibly deep roster. I'm looking forward to seeing him in feuds with guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and probably guys that he's wrestled 100 times before, but it'll be new to us because I don't get much Ring of Honor exposure down in Australia. That's going to be interesting to see, so I'm looking forward to seeing him come down and get into the WWE. So let's kick off the start of the show. We had, you guessed it, another promo to kick off the show. We had Dean Ambrose standing in the middle of the ring talking about last week how he's sick and tired of playing games with Seth Rollins. He's not doing it anymore. Seth Rollins proceeds to come down to the ring and interrupt Dean Ambrose. They both argue. Seth says he's not playing any games anymore. He's done with it, and he's done with Dean Ambrose. That pisses Dean Ambrose off. Seth puts his fist out as a kind gesture to Dean, and Dean snaps and says, "You gotta be kidding me, this is bullshit. I did that last week and you're making me look like a dickhead." So Seth takes away his fist and goes to leave the ring. Dean grabs him and turns around and puts his fist out. Seth then ducks that again, says no, and then all hell breaks loose. They start fighting with each other, pushing, shoving, and punches are thrown. They fight all the way out to the ring, where just before things are about to explode and they're about to really beat the crap out of each other, we see Sheamus and Cesaro come down the ramp, interrupt their little bitch fight, get into it with them, proceed to beat the crap out of them, and then Seth and Dean get the upper hand, and they maybe in storyline terms that's something that they had to get out of their system. Maybe they just had to punch each other a couple of times like men do and then get over it. But so after the tag team champions get shushed away, they both put their fists together. A massive pop from the crowd because it's the two good guys, the two people from the Shield that we liked coming together again. I still don't know where this is going in terms of the storyline angle, but I still think that maybe Dean Ambrose will be turning heel. I would like to see Dan Ambrose turn heel. I think that he's long overdue. I think he's way overdue to be heel. Does such a good job of it too. So then Kurt Angle comes out and announces that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are going to be going to SummerSlam to face the tag team champions for the tag team titles. It's going to be an interesting match. It'll be interesting to see whether they go with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins as tag team champions. Now we know that they haven't been tag team champions before. It was Roman and Seth Rollins when they were a part of the Shield. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in terms of if they go with them winning and then self-destructing after they win the titles, or if Dean Ambrose decides to turn heel halfway through the match, or if he doesn't, maybe Seth turns heel. There's a lot of possibilities of what way they could go. Are they going to have an interference from somebody, from maybe an NXT team, and that's going to break Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose's short-lived alliance, and they'll go off and feud with Cesaro and Sheamus, and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins will feud again. Who knows? It's anybody's guess at this point, but my bet is that Dean Ambrose is going to turn heel. Now, I'm also going to be doing SummerSlam predictions. Once the SmackDown show is over tomorrow night, I'm going to run down in that SmackDown episode my SummerSlam predictions as well once the full card is completed. So it seems like it is already, but I don't want to just do it now and miss out on a match. So we'll wait till tomorrow night to do the predictions. Next up, we had Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax in a No.1 Contenders match to face Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. There's a great image of, if you go on the network or get on WWE.com, of Alexa Bliss sitting in this massive lifeguard chair watching the match. She's small compared to the size of the chair. It's ridiculous. She looks like a toddler sitting in a big adult chair. So that's quite a humorous image. She looks very unpleased to be there watching this match because she knows that she's going to have to face either one of them. The crowd was really into this match. By the end of it, it was a bit of a slow start, but they did. Nia Jax has really been impressing me lately with some of the stuff she can do. She's such a big, badass woman. I was kind of pulling for her in the end. I mean, we've seen Sasha Banks as, she's a 3-time women's champion on Raw, and we've seen her with that title. I'm kind of ready for a fresh face like Nia Jax's, who can be a completely dominant heel champion, completely different to people like Kevin Owens and Jinder Mahal that were placed as beatable heel champions. I think Nia Jax can be that unstoppable monster that Roman Reigns should be if he turns heel, that sort of thing. I just don't know what they're going to book for at SummerSlam. I think Sasha will lose. I think Alexa Bliss will retain because I think Bayley was supposed to be in that position, and Sasha Banks has been thrown in there. So I think that they'll have Alexa Bliss retain and continue on her merry way. I would like to see maybe an Alexa face turn and then drop the title to Nia Jax. I reckon she could be just the next best thing in women's wrestling since sliced bread, and she could have so many great one-on-one matches, and then maybe at WrestleMania drops the title there, or maybe she holds it for a full year till SummerSlam and drops it back there again. Something like that. Something where Nia Jax has a really good run with the title, beats the shit out of everybody, and then imagine the pop when, almost like the Undertaker's undefeated streak, but just done better and not with someone that's already a badass. Make it someone like Bayley that's an underdog, or someone that can really draw a really good reaction from the crowd and get something out of it. I just think that would be a much better way to go. We had an interview backstage with The Miz approaching Kurt Angle. The Miz was still pissed off about last week, how he was put in that situation with Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle let Lesnar beat the shit out of all of them. So The Miz said, what are you going to do to fix it? And Kurt Angle said, well, nothing, because if you have a problem, take it up with Brock. He was also talking to the Hardys before he was interrupted. The Miz was put into a match with Jason Jordan. Whilst The Miz was complaining to Kurt Angle, a referee comes up to him and says, Mr. Angle, we have a problem with Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. So Kurt Angle runs off in mid-sentence of The Miz speaking, and it was just funny the way The Miz says, I was talking, like anybody cared what you were saying anyway, mate. So then we had a backstage segment of Finn and Bray Wyatt beating the shit out of each other. So the bright spark idea was to put Kurt Angle in the position to put Bray Wyatt against Finn Balor in a match 1 week before they wrestle each other at SummerSlam. I don't quite get the thought process there. Why would you give us the SummerSlam match before SummerSlam? Doesn't make sense. I understand them brawling backstage and beating the shit out of each other, but why make them wrestle a week before SummerSlam? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't you just have them have a non-contact clause, and if they punch each other, they get fired, or have something so that they save their violence for SummerSlam? I understand that what it was leading to later in the show, but I didn't like how we were given that match already on free-to-air TV. That is a match I would pay to see. The Demon Bray Wyatt versus the Demon Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Just seems like a waste to me. I don't understand that. So they booked the match for later in the night. So we had Elias Sampson, now known as just Elias, so another person with his name only as one word, sung his way in the middle of the ring, was interrupted by R-Truth, who rapped his way down to the ring. Elias took that to offence and basically beat the crap out of him, picked up his guitar, posed to the crowd and walked away. We followed that by a Big Cass promo in the ring with the Shark Cage there with him, saying how he's going to give Enzo Amore the best seat in the house to him beating the crap out of the Big Show. The crowd was really into booing Big Cass, which is good to see because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the crowd to boo him, and they are. So he's obviously doing something right. The fact that he's got the crowd booing him every time he goes to talk, the crowd was getting louder and louder with their boos, and that's exactly what he would want. If he's going to be a big, dominant heel, then that's perfect. If he's garnering that heat from those fans, that is a good thing to see. So good for you, Big Cass. As much as I don't see too much in him, I can see him getting a decent run with a championship of some kind, being a dominant heel. I don't reckon he's got much in the way of being a babyface because he's so big and so powerful. He should be a heel, so it's good to see. It's good to see him being a bad guy and getting a bad guy reaction. So after he had spoken for a little bit about beating the crap out of Big Show and giving Enzo the best seat in their house, of course Big Show and Enzo come out to the ring. Enzo cuts a little promo on him, calls Big Show out to come and help him. They're about to beat the crap out of him. Enzo's up on the apron and cops a big boot from Cass, pretty much knocks him outside the ring. Then Anderson and Gallows rush to the ring and help Big Cass beat the crap out of Big Show, supposedly breaking his hand. They had a belt that they had tied around his wrist, and Gallows was holding the belt to him. Anderson had held Big Show down, and Big Cass had slammed the door on Big Show's hand. So the assault continued for a little while. Enzo tried to help again, copped another big boot. He's completely useless, that guy, so it's going to be interesting. He's completely useless, that guy, so it's funny how he's getting everyone that's over 7 foot tall to help him out. I don't think he's got much of a future in being a single star. It's going to be funny to see what happens because he's not really going places at the moment. Enzo cannot even get an offensive punch in at all. That could be the result of the heat that he has backstage with everybody, or it could be a result of just the booking that isn't going his way. We had a cruiserweight title match, Akira Tozawa versus Neville, the champion, with Titus O'Neil in Akira Tozawa's corner. This was probably the best match on the show. From what it sounded like, the crowd was incredibly into it and they could sniff an upset. I think it's time. Neville's been a great champion for a very long time. It was his time to do the favours and drop the belt. So Cruz came down to the ring after Tozawa had pinned Neville's shoulder to the mat. The crowd went absolutely ape shit. It was a great match, great spots, and we have a new cruiserweight champion who is managed by Titus O'Neil. Who would have thought that Titus O'Neil would be managing a champion in the WWE at the moment? So it's going to be funny. They're going to have Akira Tozawa's celebration for his championship win on 205 Live after SmackDown tomorrow night. That's going to be interesting to see how they do that. It's going to be probably pretty funny because Titus O'Neil's quite humorous in his role as the Titus Worldwide manager or whatever you would call him. So congratulations to Akira Tozawa. He is a good wrestler. I've watched a bit of him on the WWE Network on the Cruiserweight Classic. I've been impressed with some of the matches on that. I never got to watch it. I've only just recently got the network, and he had a great match on the WWE Cruiserweight Classic, which I hope they do again. They were talking about doing another one before they had even started the first one, and Triple H said it's not a one and done, but we're not quite sure. And they haven't done one this year because last year it was around July that they did the Cruiserweight Classic, so maybe it's a once every 2 or 3 years or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. We had Mickie James versus Emma come into play as a result of a backstage segment between the two of them of Emma whinging and whining that she didn't get what she deserved. She should be the one for the Women's Championship, just having a whinge basically, and And Mickie James says had a gut full of it and decided that she wanted to have a piece of Emma. So they had a match, and Mickie James beat her clean with the mitt kick. So there's not much to speak about there. Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. So here we go. We have our SummerSlam match on Raw. After one Sister Abigail, Finn Balor has been pinned clean in the middle of the ring. My question is why? Why would they do that? I don't understand. Am I stupid because I don't understand why they would do that the very week before SummerSlam? It's not even a week, it's like 5 days away. What's the deal? After the match, Finn Balor is sitting in the corner. Bray Wyatt pours a bucket of blood over him. Supposedly, obviously it's not, but so bloodbaths him. What the hell is the deal with that? Where did this bucket come from? The lights go off, it comes back on, he's got a bucket in his hand, he pours it on him and watches him writhe in it for a little bit. Apparently that's enough to bring out Finn Balor's demon side, because on the WWE.com they announced that Finn Balor was going to be bringing out his demon side at SummerSlam, so it's the demon versus Bray Wyatt, which is fine, but why did you give us the match the week before? It just seems like a waste, because now I don't really care who wins at SummerSlam, because I've just seen Bray Wyatt beat Finn Balor. Clean. No help. No bullshit, nothing, just clean. Just beat him with a Sister Abigail, 1, 2, 3. Well, now we know. There's our winner. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The Miz versus Jason Jordan ended in a disqualification because the Miz Taraj interrupted the match. Kurt Angle came out, the Hardys made the save, and it was a 6-man tag. Restart the match right now. The Hardy Boys ended up winning the match. Jeff Hardy hit a swanton bomb. Game over. The Miz Taraj are a bunch of jobbers. The Miz is the Miz. They are a class above the Miz Taraj. So the right people won there. In the main event of the evening, we had Paul Heyman cut a promo for 10 minutes in the ring. As much as I love Paul Heyman, I don't want to sit here and listen to him for 10 minutes whinge about SummerSlam. I get that if Brock Lesnar loses the championship at SummerSlam, he is going to leave the WWE. I understand that. You don't need to continuously repeat that and say how it's so unfair. Brock Lesnar is supposed to be this unstoppable monster. Why is he afraid of facing 3 dudes at SummerSlam? Anyhow, after the promo was cut, Samoa Joe interrupted, Roman Reigns interrupted Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman come out, all hell broke loose, all beat the shit out of each other. Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman were the only two left in the ring, and that's when it got good. That is a match I cannot wait to see. Brock Lesnar one-on-one versus Braun Strowman, maybe inside Hell in a Cell. That is going to be an exciting match, because we've seen time and time again how well Braun Strowman can work with big guys like Roman Reigns. They've had some really good matches. As much as I'm a Roman Reigns hater, they have had good matches. Braun Strowman works well. He's quite nimble for a dude that's so massive and so ridiculously muscly. That is a match I can't wait to see. Hopefully Survivor Series or Royal Rumble or something like that. Maybe Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar one-on-one. That'll be exciting. I can't wait to see that. So we got a little bit of a glimpse of that. A pull-apart brawl. So we had about 20 security guards run down to the ring to try and stop the two of them from beating the shit out of each other. Brock and Braun beat the shit out of those security guards, trying to help them. So Kurt Angle came out and made his 15th appearance for the night and ordered everyone in the roster to come down and stop them all from fighting. The end of the show, which I'm pretty sure ran overtime too. So the end of the show was Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar being held apart. I really want to see Braun Strowman walk out of SummerSlam as the champion. I think that's going to be the way to go. All reports from what I'm hearing is that that's what everybody else wants to see too. So I think a big dominant heel Braun Strowman is a lot more exciting than a big dominant Brock Lesnar sitting at home. And we only get to see him once every month if we're lucky. So that's going to be it for this week, guys. That was just my rundown of Raw and a few news tidbits as well. Make sure you check out my Final Fantasy Part 4 that I will be uploading around the same time as this. Make sure you check out my reviews for last week so you can keep up with what's going on. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to my channel for more reviews and more opinions on wrestling at the moment. And make sure you tell everybody about the Dawsonator. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for SmackDown. Bye. What's going on, everybody? This is the Dawsonator here.